Dear ground crew, in these times on Earth, an illusionary drama is unfolding, created by forces that seek to keep you in fear and limit your awareness to a material world. These forces might be known as the deep state, or more simply, the dense layers of human ego that influence events, keeping you trapped in cycles of fear, conflict, and distraction. But let us remind you, there is a spiritual power within you that is beyond any limitation or trap. This power is a natural extension of God's consciousness, always present, requiring no permission or guidance from your ego. It simply is. Know that this spiritual power is alive within you right now, flowing as divine light. You cannot control it with your ego or understand it with your mind. The key is to stop trying to manipulate it for personal gain and instead witness its effects as you allow it to flow freely. When you do this, it will radiate out from you and dissolve the illusions around you. The so-called deep state structure thrives on your participation in fear and mental manipulation, encouraging you to cling to rigid beliefs and opinions. But the moment you release the need to defend these stances or control spiritual power, you break free. In those moments of surrender, true spiritual power effortlessly reveals itself. We see that many of you, dear ones, have been taught over generations and by societal norms that you must make God bend to your will or manipulate the forces of the universe to solve your human problems. This is part of the trap, the illusion that you must fight for sacred energy to serve your personal needs. Your ego, driven by strong opinions, defends these beliefs, but in doing so, it creates more limitations around you. When you attempt to control the infinite, you block the natural flow of its grace. Here's the truth. Spiritual power fulfills its purpose the moment you stop grasping for it or trying to control it. Simply allow the God consciousness within you to express itself as love, creativity, and healing. Each time you let go of the need to dominate or plead with the divine, you open the floodgates for that divine energy to flow without resistance. God is not waiting for you to beg or petition. God simply is, all-knowing, all-powerful, and beyond human manipulation. No shadow force, no system of fear can stand against this pure consciousness. Once you recognize this as the ultimate reality, just take a moment to imagine, what if the infinite withheld its light or operated only when you commanded it? The ego-driven mind that asks, God, fix this situation, or God, destroy that enemy, unknowingly fuels the belief that divine power can be controlled or used like a weapon. But beloved, God knows no competition, no hierarchy, no conflict. God's consciousness exists in a state of complete unity and balance. When you stop trying to persuade, direct, or manipulate God, trying to use divine power to fight your enemies, that's when you enter the flow of infinite presence. In that sacred neutrality, the illusions of power struggles, control, and division begin to fall apart. For God, being everything, acknowledges no rivals. You might wonder, what is God? It's hard to fully describe such an endless force with human words. But think of this. God is here, where you are, in every breath you take, the source of everything, vibrating within every cell of your being. Because God knows all, there's no need for you to give instructions or beg. And because God is all-powerful, nothing can overshadow its light. The energies we call manipulative or controlling only exist in the realm of duality, where the ego believes in two forces, one good, one evil. But when you remember that there is only one true power, those illusions that feed fear begin to fade. We see how human institutions and cultural conditioning have tied you to material solutions, convincing you that you must fight darkness on its own terms. But focusing all your energy on the external drama, on the latest tactics used by hidden powers, only feeds into the illusion of conflict. If you accept that God is spirit and that there is only one true power, you become immune to the illusions of external threats. The fear generated by these forces loses its hold on you because your consciousness no longer invests in them. The true secret lies in the moment you let go. Let go of trying to use God for your own purposes. When you stop confusing spiritual power with mental or material strategies, a new doorway opens. You begin to see divine love's infinite law working within you and through you, and realize there is no other law to fight or fear. It might seem like the world is in chaos, with war and conflict being driven by forces controlling collective minds. Illusions, such as fears of disease, economic collapse, or the other, are being magnified. This is the drama playing out. But when you align with the higher truths of your divine nature, your multidimensional heart, your oneness with God, you gain the clarity and peace needed to distinguish between illusion and reality. You, dear ones, hold the keys to a brighter path. When you stop feeding into fear-based narratives and reject the belief in powers outside of the one, you break free. You stop fueling the machinery of fear. Understand that all harmful or malicious actions in the world come from accepting the illusion of duality. Those who are under its spell might try to manipulate through mental or material means, but remember, the only real harm is the one we inflict upon ourselves. The moment someone believes in two powers, they are trapped in their own illusions. No matter how clever fear-based systems may appear, they are still just illusions. The moment you choose to step into the pure presence of God, you don't need to fight against illusions. You only need the willingness to rest in the truth of oneness. This is how you, as awakened beings, become a stabilizing force on earth. You bring peace, not by using God to defeat imagined enemies, but by holding the consciousness that in God, there are no enemies. When you experience this truth, the illusions of conflict and separation fade away in your presence. The drama may continue for a while, but it loses its grip on you, because you are anchored in the awareness of one power, one law, and one infinite presence. This doesn't mean that the illusions of conflict simply disappear overnight. There will be a period of transition where people continue to hold on to fear or fight to protect their rigid beliefs, because that's how the ego holds its grip. But each person on the path of awakening can consciously choose to reject the widespread belief in any force other than divine love. A person with true spiritual insight is one who isn't swept away by the dramas of the world, but instead sees that God is the only true power. As you grow in this understanding, you realize that you don't need to use God for anything. God reveals itself as everything. It's important to note that we're not asking you to remain passive. If you feel genuinely guided to take action in your life, we encourage you to act without the belief that you must manipulate divine intelligence to overcome challenges. Let your actions come from a place of grace, not from anxiety or fear. When you let go and allow the infinite presence to move you, your actions resonate with a transformative power that goes beyond the ego's limited approach. Many of you wonder how to deal with the fear-filled stories around you, concerns about global events, or how certain groups might be controlling resources or technology. The answer is simple. If you truly understand that God is the only real presence, you won't give in to fear or try to manipulate the divine. Instead, you'll trust that the all-encompassing light of spirit has no opposition, sees no enemy, and will guide everyone toward the highest good. As you hold this truth in your heart, the illusions lose their power. Remember, prayer and meditation are not defined by specific words or doctrines. Prayer is the attitude of your heart, your sincere desire for divine harmony and peace. When your intention is to bring peace to the world, you enter into true prayer. No matter what form or tradition you follow, prayer loses its authenticity if you use it for personal gain or to bring down those you consider enemies. Divine power cannot be confined to your personal goals. True prayer is the opening of yourself to the one power, asking for the fullness of love to manifest on earth. God doesn't need your words. God recognizes the purity of your intentions. You don't need to fully grasp cosmic principles to see spiritual power at work. Many healers in your spiritual communities have done amazing things without having a deep theological understanding. Their genuine faith and the simple awareness that God is the only true power were enough to bring about healing. When you tap into that space, no matter how imperfect your words may be, you become a channel for light. And that light doesn't judge or create conflict. It simply dissolves the illusions of duality that have long plagued humanity. We also want to emphasize the profound importance of extending this love to all beings without exception, including those whom you may perceive as part of the deep state, or those who appear to be orchestrating fear and division across the world. It is essential to remember that God consciousness doesn't see separateness, division, or even the notion of opposition. In the grandest sense of universal truth, there is no other. There is only the one. Everything in existence, regardless of its apparent form or expression, is part of that one. This understanding can often be difficult to grasp, especially when the world around us seems filled with what appear to be polarizing forces, systems, and agendas. These illusions may seem incredibly powerful because so many are feeding into them, but in truth, they are still just illusions, transient and fleeting. They are temporary constructions in the vast, eternal dance of creation. The core of your mission, dear ones, isn't to engage in battle against these illusions, fighting them with force or resistance. This is not the way of divine consciousness. Instead, your mission is to embody and radiate the light of the I Am presence. You are not called to engage in conflict, but to be living, breathing representations of unity and divine love. From the perspective of God, there is no duality, no good versus evil, no us versus them. There is only the one. And when you come from this place of knowing, there is no need to oppose anything or anyone. Only then can true and lasting peace emerge, peace that transcends the shallow concepts of enemies and victors, and instead embraces the wholeness of all that is. So, as you come together each day, whether in a formal meditation or quietly in the sacred space of your own heart, direct your focus toward the pure intention of letting the infinite presence of the divine express itself through you. This is not about formality, ritual, or specific words, although these can all be helpful in their own way. The core of your practice is the alignment of your heart with the vast presence of the divine. If your desire is for real peace, for truth, and for harmony among all people, regardless of their background, beliefs, or behaviors, then your prayer is already aligned with God's purpose. It is not about the specific thoughts or words you use, or about adopting any particular ritualistic practice. What matters most is the heart-centered intention of seeking peace and unity, transcending personal desires or victories. As soon as you make peace and unity your focus, the specifics of how you connect with the divine become secondary. The moment your focus shifts away from personal gain or conflict and toward the well-being of the whole, you align yourself with the flow of creation. This is the flow of divine energy, the current of universal love that moves through all things. When you recognize and embody this flow, you align with the higher consciousness that is the foundation of the universe itself. The language of the heart speaks louder than any form or structure. So, whether you practice through prayer, meditation, contemplation, or simply the quiet knowing in your heart, know that your focus on peace, truth, and unity already unites you with God's divine will. Remember, dear ones, spiritual power is at work in you right now. This very moment, as you read these words or reflect on these truths, you are tapping into a profound force of transformation. The illusions of a controlling system, the concepts of good and evil, the idea of a divided world. These are all sustained by the deep-rooted belief that God is not fully present, or that God can be manipulated or controlled. But the truth is, the all-knowing presence of God is here and now, fully present, waiting for your simple recognition. God's presence is not dependent on external circumstances, nor is it subject to the fluctuations of human affairs. It is a constant, unchanging, all-encompassing force that is always accessible to you. It is simply waiting for you to surrender and let go of the attachments, judgments, and fears that keep you from fully experiencing this divine presence. When you let go of these attachments, something profound happens. Clarity and calmness emerge, even in the midst of external chaos. This is the power of God within you, bringing you peace that passes all understanding. As you allow this divine presence to guide and fill you, you realize that the external world, no matter how tumultuous or filled with fear it may seem, holds no real power over you. The illusions that seem to dominate the world lose their grip the moment you stop giving them energy. The moment you release your attachment to fear, separation, and control, you begin to experience the freedom of divine peace, and with it, the recognition that nothing external can ever truly threaten your inner harmony. In the end, dear ones, spiritual energy flows freely, healing the hearts of those who are ready and open to receive it. You, as a conscious being, have the power to be an instrument of this healing energy. By consciously letting go of duality, of the false ideas of separation, right and wrong, us and them, you become an embodied beacon of new awareness. You are paving the way for humanity to rise beyond the limitations of old patterns defined by conflict, struggle, and fear. The more you live this truth in your own life, the more you begin to see it reflected in the world around you. Each moment you experience this truth, you become a shining point of light in the world. You no longer need to defeat enemies or impose your will. Instead, you help bring peace by understanding that in God, there are no enemies. There is only the divine unity that holds all things in perfect balance. In that realization, all illusions dissolve. The walls that once seemed so solid and insurmountable crumble away, revealing the deeper reality of divine love, unity, and truth that underpins all creation. This is the truth of who you are, the truth that resides in the very essence of your being. We see your courage as you release the old beliefs and patterns that have held you captive for so long. We witness your sacred heart opening more and more to this higher truth. It is truly a beautiful sight, and it is a testament to the power of love and spiritual growth. Remember, you are never alone in this journey. We are right here with you, supporting you, holding the frequency of truth, and always ready to reflect your divine nature back to you. Know that we are with you every step of the way, guiding you as you walk this path of awakening. Let your consciousness blossom, dear ones, and watch how the illusions that once tried to hold you back can no longer take root in your life. Trust in your heart. Trust in the unified presence of the one power that flows through all things, and allow its light to transform your experience. Your purpose now, more than ever before, is to be the steady flame of divine love and truth that leads others back home, to the realization that they too are the expression of this same divine presence. You are here to inspire, uplift, and awaken those around you. The world may seem lost in darkness at times, but the light within you is enough to guide many others back to their own inner light. Trust that this is your role, and embrace it fully. You are the light, you are the love, and you are the living proof of the divine truth that all beings are one in God. Through your example, the world can be healed, and peace can become a living reality for all. As you continue on this path, remember that you're not just a passive observer of life, but an active participant in the unfolding of the divine plan. Each thought, each word, and each action aligned with love and truth sends ripples of healing throughout the world. In this way, you help bring about a new era, an era of peace, harmony, and unity, where all beings recognize their shared divine nature. You are the change you seek, and by embodying that change, you create a world where the illusions of fear, separation, and control no longer hold sway. Step into this truth fully, dear ones, and let your light shine brightly for all to see. You are the way, the truth, and the light. The world is waiting for your light to lead the way.